I just want a copy of Resident Evil 3 Remake. Like, just before sitting down to record this, I decided to scroll through Twitter for whatever the heck reason on my browser. Now, I normally do that on my phone, like a normal human being, because who uses Twitter on the PC? I don't know, I'm new to it. Maybe more people do. I'm not trying to talk bad if you do, but it's a foreign concept to me. I use it pretty much just to upload edited clips that I have on my PC to Twitter and stuff. But I decided to log into Twitter for whatever the heck reason, because I guess I was feeling super lazy and didn't want to pull out my phone. And the very first post on my feed was a code for Resident Evil 3 with a clue for the last two letters of the code. Shout out to Mr. Seven on Twitter, and he's Delacroix on Twitch. He was holding a 2 code giveaway, actually, for Resident Evil 3 Remake. And I just happened to be one of the winners, so that made my day. That was flippin' awesome, dude. And what a way to start the podcast, right? Yo, welcome to episode 3, buddies, of Buddies, no, of the Punched podcast. I want to start with saying that I kind of been getting the Twitter handle wrong this entire time. If you guys have been looking up Punched podcast, that is not me. That is not this show. It is actually Podcast Punched over on Twitter. Now, if you look it up on anywhere else, when I decide to put it on other platforms, that's how you will look it up, is Punched Podcast. But over on Twitter, it's actually Podcast Punched for the time being. And I apologize for mixing that up these first few episodes, but I needed to say something about it. I needed to let you guys know that I knew I messed up. But yeah, I also wanted to share that little tidbit about Resident Evil 3 because I'm happy about it. It feels great winning stuff, because I don't normally win stuff when it comes to any type of contests. I will say, though, that I've won more things off of Twitch via, like, giveaways or being at the right place at the right time for Twitter giveaways, but that's essentially through Twitch, because all of my Twitter stuff has to do with streamers. Most of the contests I've won have been through Twitch, and I think that's super dope. Thank y'all, gamers, for being super generous. Most of today's episode won't be too much new. I'm just gonna go a little bit more in-depth on Doom Eternal and a little bit in-depth on Animal Crossing. I mean, as much as you can say about either stuff, and I've already said a lot of stuff about both of them. But other than that, I have like a few announcements when it comes to like games and movies, but we'll get to that. We'll get to The Last of Us 2 tragedy. But I wanted to talk about Doom Eternal before anything, because there's not much to add. There's a lot of balancing, like I've said before in the last episode, that is really fun for the monotonous killing stuff that could be numbing, because you're on the constant move of switching things up to gather resources. It's like your creativity is paid off with shotgun shells, with ammo, of any other gun you feel, with armor. That depth to gameplay we're used to distracted me from level design, and don't get me wrong, it's beautiful. The game is gorgeous to look at, even when it's ugly and hideously gruesome and gory. But you could almost feel like the rhythm of every level, like, okay, I've gone through a platforming section, now I need to get rid of these demons here. Oh my gosh, hey look, an arena, I wonder what's gonna go down, and that doesn't detract from the experience. It's just telegraphed. You know it's coming. It's less of a surprise when stuff goes down. And I think the reason they did it that way is the higher difficulties are actually fucking hard to get through. I've been playing it off stream on my own time as well, and the higher difficulties definitely have you prioritizing demons as well as the methods to take them out, and gathering resources while you're taking them out. So let's say you use a certain type of ammo to take out all of the smaller ads, and then you go to a heavy, and then you set stuff on fire so that you can get armor to be able to face down another heavy. It's that constant juggling that initially distracted me from the not necessarily lackluster level design, but stuff that you can definitely tell is linear. I mean, the levels are more open, the levels are filled with a bunch of secrets, but that's kind of also its detriments, because there are these secret encounters that you get, these secret encounters where you have to kill a certain amount of enemies in a certain amount of time or in a certain way, and you get power-ups for it. But you can't access it but you can't access it at the Fortress of Doom. Like, you have to do it in the level, or you have to go back to the level to do it all over again in order to get that encounter done. And that's kind of suckish. That's kind of lame, because the levels themselves are already long, but why am I complaining about content, right? And even the level design thing, like, literally this is me just thinking about how the heck do I nitpick an almost perfect first-person shooter. I feel like I do that all the time, where I start to criticize something and then somehow end up praising it. I don't know, I'm dumb, but I've also still been playing Animal Crossing. That's been a lot of fun with other people. I like going into other people's towns and buying their shoes straight the heck up. I mean, I have my own Able Sisters shop, but to prevent time skipping, though I'm guilty of doing that. To prevent time skipping, I go to my friends' islands so that I can get all of their shoes and stuff. And I don't get all of them. I just get stuff that I like. I get the styles and the... What's the thing that all the kids are saying today? I only get the drip that I like. Damn, dude, that was super ugly. Remind me to never say something that hideous again, or to attempt current slang ever again. But yeah, I've been doing it up with everybody else, essentially just trying to be the aesthetic star. I've noticed a lot of darkness, though, in the Animal Crossing community. A lot of you guys are super, super bogus. Like, if someone doesn't fit your aesthetic, as in villagers, whoever, like, moves in that you don't deem pretty, that you deem are ugly, you kick them off. That is, like, the most toxic BS I've ever heard, ever. And don't get me wrong, I've definitely done things to prevent certain characters from moving in, but that essentially equates to not checking up on them. You get me? You don't have to necessarily be a jerk and whack them in the face with a net, or complain about them every day. Like, I saw someone complain about the way someone else dressed, and all they did was change the shirt. They got even more bad because the villager changed the shirt. They're like, yo, this villager's doing so much to try to appease you, and you're doing all this crap to kick him off. And I just cannot believe the Animal Crossing community. It's hilarious, not gonna lie. I think what's causing it the most, though, right now is the fact that there's the whole Easter thing going. Well, the bunny thing, the bunny day thing. You're supposed to collect certain types of eggs, and you do it by fishing and shooting out presents from the sky. I don't know, by doing Animal Crossing bullcrap, you get me? The way you normally progress through the game is how you get these eggs, and then the bunny... I forget his name, I don't know, he's annoying ass fucking yellow bunny, gives you DIY recipes to be able to do, you know, a little aesthetic DIY recipes with the eggs. The outfits and the furniture themselves are cute, they're awesome. I mean, who doesn't like pastel junk? But the bunny is so damn annoying and talks for flipping ever that I think it jump-started this whole negative or / toxic wave in the Animal Crossing community that I had already seen, but it's soaring up there right now. Like, nobody likes this bunny. I feel like a little kid talking about it, low-key. But I actually do have genuine criticisms for Animal Crossing New Horizons. though, is and I guess this has more to do with the Nintendo app than anything else, but you can see what villagers are on your island through the map, through the app. In Splatoon 2, you could use your in-game currency to buy specific items on the app. And I think you should be able to do that as well in Animal Crossing. Like, they've already gone through the trouble of adding all of the apps that you have in-game to your phone, so why not add a shop that you could add to your phone? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's because it's tied to the system, because the game is so tied to the system that it would be hard to update the app that often with whatever shop items are available, but I don't get why they couldn't do it in the style of Splatoon, where the whatever's on the market at that time is what would be given to you the following day. Or maybe I'm just completely overcomplicating things and want too much out of the Nintendo app. I've given it too many chances. I've held on to it for too long, but I think I'm gonna finally make a little bit of room on my phone. Speaking of my phone, let me look at my phone, see what else we got going on this week, which isn't really too much. I mean, I guess I can go in a little bit of a Debbie Downer mood. I'm sorry. Content warning. Delayed games. Okay. The Last of Us Part 2 is delayed indefinitely. And they made a statement on Twitter, they said all this stuff, and everybody made a huge stink. But essentially the way they tried to reassure everybody is that they wanted to make sure that they could do a proper launch. You know, amidst everything that's going on, amongst everything that is happening, like, worldwide, I understand why they're taking more time. And the only thing that's positive of this all, I mean, it could just be a better game because of this. It could only be a better game because of this. I straight up encourage everyone to have the most positive, perspective when it comes to this. I know it hurts. I'm not gonna lie, this is the one that stung the most out of all the cancellations and the delays, because The Last of Us 2 is supposed to be a masterpiece, and the first one is so damn good, and all of this hype surrounding it, and I think they had a tweet earlier this year reassuring everybody that, yo, this is happening. It's actually coming out this year. But it isn't, and it sucks, and we just kind of have to take it. I honestly don't even care about the other cancellations I have written down. The Morbius movie is moved to early next year. Apparently Venom 2 is still going to be releasing this year somehow. I don't know. They must have a lot more of that movie shot than we thought. But who knows if people will even be going to movie theaters in a couple of months from now. Well, let's not be doom and gloom, because these cancellations in themselves, right? I mean, that's the doom and gloom. I don't know. I'm just trying to rapid fire because I want to talk about Westworld. Positive game stuff, though. I know I'm mixing movies and game stuff here, but the Super Mario 35th anniversary is this year. And take this with a grain of salt, because these are all third-party Nintendo sites that I've sourced here. I talk like I'm an actual reporter or whatever it is. I literally just look at stuff and make sure that, I have it from that website so that I don't look not credible. So off these third-party Nintendo news sites, a lot of them are saying that Mario 64 remaster is going to get, or not a remaster, but Mario 64 is going to be released for the Switch, as well as Mario Sunshine, and a remaster of Paper Mario, or a new Paper Mario, or something along those lines. And you guys can be excited for whatever the heck you want to be excited for, but Paper Mario, bro, that's one of my favorite RPG experiences, period. It's so funny, it's hella quirky, Luigi's got full-ass lines, it's awesome. That's one of my favorite Mario adventures, period. And I've seen Mario Galaxy named a couple of times, but who knows? We'll see which of all of these that have been listed actually end up coming out. Whatever it is, I'd have a lot of fun playing some, not necessarily super old school or super retro, but older, newer Mario games. That's so dumb. Other stuff coming out for the Switch though is Outer Worlds. I already played and beaten it on the PC. I think my brother has it for the PS4, and I enjoyed it. It's a fun time. It'll eat up about maybe 40 to 50 hours of your time depending on like how you play and how many times you play through it, maybe even more than that. There's not a lot there for me to want to go back though. It was quirky, but it wasn't as in depth as Obsidian's other titles, cough cough, Fallout New Vegas. And it is Obsidian's Fallout. At least that one is. I mean, obviously Fallout belongs to Bethesda, but I'm saying like they hold the mantle for the best one for sure. Straight up, I'm out of video game stuff, so I'm just gonna talk about Westworld because that's what I've been gearing up toward. And this is pretty much the last stuff I have for today's episode, because for the UFC, nothing is set in stone. They don't even know if they're gonna have this next event because Khabib is staying in Russia, which is smart as hell. Good for him. He's not spreading whatever the heck is going around, COVID. He's not taking the chance and getting it himself. And as much as Tony Ferguson is like calling him out for it, I think he's making the right call. But they haven't found a replacement for Tony Ferguson yet. And his whole thing right now is that he only wants to fight Conor and Khabib. Those are the only two people that he can't fight right now because all of the other contenders are in the US and they would be able to do something like that with under 10 people at the event. I don't blame him though, because like he's been gearing up for Khabib for a while now, and this is the third time that it's going to be rescheduled. So I get why he's throwing a fit about it. I mean, I would too. But the way things are going, I don't think anything's gonna end up happening UFC style. So that's why I've been I don't know, that's why I've been trying to go rapid fire and just talk about Westworld, because this last episode is flipping nuts as hell. I'm going to straight up warn you, this is complete and utter spoilers for this last episode, which is episode 3 of season 3. And Dolores has Caleb straight up under her web, or whatever, as the producers say, but like it's more under her wing. The way she's approaching trying to convince Caleb to be on her side and help take down this like Rehoboam is exposing how planned out his life actually is. Like she straight up tells him like, yo, they have down to a T where you will kill yourself, and not necessarily the time. They have like a 2-year time frame. They even have it down to where he would do it. I think the exposure of showing how much, not how much, but how little control he has over his life, and how little this system, the whole system, whatever it is, Insight, thinks of what he can progress to, really pisses him off, kind of in the same way that Dolores got pissed off with her whole life being planned out. And they did a really good job with paralleling the discovery of self with Robohale. Like that whole thing of like, who the heck is in her? We still don't know. I think it's Teddy, because of that whole ordeal in the park where she's choking that dude with the dog. And she's like, the more I squeeze your neck, the more I feel like myself, or something crazy like that. And it just seems like that type of brutality that Teddy can have, but for the right cause. Like he's never been afraid to get down and dirty, but as long as he thinks it's right. We've seen at the end of the last season that he couldn't follow Dolores. He couldn't deal with what she was doing and taking lives, and we saw him let people escape because he's kind-hearted. He's that type of person. He's a good man. And if that is Teddy, if that is him inside of Robohale, I wonder how much it's going to play into the rest of the show, play into Dolores's plan and how she plans to use that goodness this time and not overhaul him so that, he blasts himself. And even though there's all of these revelations and all of these, like, whatever they're called, reveals in this episode, the biggest one, or the biggest shock for me, was not the fact that Dolores knew so much about Caleb's past and the parallels between, the androids and us, well, the hosts, I think they're called, and us. Not the whole mystery and realization of whoever that is in Robo Hale's body, but the reveal that it was Charlotte Hale that was the mole for Sarek, or Serac. I swear that's an alcohol, but for Serac, like, she was the head of intelligence crap and knew all that was going on in the Westworld Park, but was also reporting back to this guy, to this new character that I'm absolutely loving, and it's so great seeing how interconnected he is to the world, and I'm wondering what they do with him, because in this meeting they show that he's a hologram. And that gets me thinking to whether or not that theory about the world they're currently in is real at all, because it's like, yeah, it's not out of the realm of Westworld to have holograms, but I also don't think it's out of the realm of Westworld to throw another Maeve loop like they did in episode 2. Episode 4, though, seems like it's going to center around the Man in Black. Ed Harris is a great actor. I need more of him. We need more of him in Westworld. The way they left him last season, like, how the heck are they gonna tie this in? I don't know what's going on. And we probably won't even know what's going on until the very last episode, because that's just how this flippin' show works. They only have 8 episodes this season. I'm hoping that it picks up a little bit more after this. I mean, they've been good. These episodes have been great. Don't get me wrong. It was a great start to the season. I just think that the narrative isn't moving along as fast as it should be, given the short amount of, season we have, the short amount of screen time we have this season with these characters, and how long we have to wait in between seasons. They take a year and a half off to make this show. I'm not necessarily complaining about that, because it's great and we do get amazing television, but damn, dude, if you're gonna make me wait that long, like, give me the beef, give me the goodness, give me the thick of it. I don't know. I'm gonna stop rambling, though. That's gonna do it for this episode, for today's podcast. Thank you for making it all the way through to the end. Thank you for listening to me talk about pretty much the same stuff. I know a lot of it was a reiteration of junk we already know about, and a little bit of bad news, but we're going to be getting Resident Evil 3 tomorrow, which is dope as hell. Thank you again to Mr. 7 over on Twitter, /DeLacroix over on Twitch. And you can follow me both on Twitch and Twitter over at Pika_Punch for Twitch, and at Twitter you can follow me at Pika_Punch, or the podcast itself at Podcast Punched. That's what it is. It's reversed. I've been saying it wrong. I apologize, but that's where you go. That's where you can see, mini rambles and clips of the podcast before they go up. And if you have anything you want to say to me, there's the way to do it. You can yell at me over there. Yell at me over there. Alright, I'm gonna stop mumbling and stumbling over my words. You guys have been great. Thanks a bunch again, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.